What's going on, everybody? This is Paul, your hip hop relationship and recovery coach, coming to you again with another episode of Kick Your Butt Out. Thank you all for joining. And as always, you either sitting on your butt or you standing on your wire. Which one you doing? Let's go. So, when I was thinking about creating and putting together today's particular episode of Kick Your Butt Out, it brought me to a podcast that myself and a bunch of other brothers had created a little over a month ago. We titled the podcast Same Team. The premise of that, the idea of that particular podcast was we may have many differences, however, we are on the same team and we treat each other like teammates. But I want to talk about same team and just kind of go at it from a different angle today. And for that reason, I've decided to title today's podcast Same Team, but Wrong Team. Let me say that again. Same team, but the wrong team. And so I'll talk about some of my experiences, and I'm going to talk about some other experiences, and that's one that you all might know very well. Russell Westbrook, basketball great, one of the greats in the game today. He's definitely going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. The kid's phenomenal player, have broken many records, many awards, all-star team, and he's been on some of the best teams in the NBA. But one of those teams was the wrong team. He got on the team that has a championship pedigree, a phenomenal history in the NBA. Even to this day, they have some phenomenal players named LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and some other guys that's going to be greats in the NBA. He ended up a few years back, he got on the Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron James, and even Carmelo Anthony was on the same team. Again, bunch of basketball greats, right? Excuse me. Bunch of basketball greats. Let me say this though. If you would have not known who Russell Westbrook is and some of his previous accomplishments in the NBA, when you saw him play with the Los Angeles Lakers, you would have thought he was a scrub. You would have thought, like, who is this guy? What did they find this guy up under a bus on a park bench or whatever the case may be? Because his game is absolutely, totally garbage. Same team, but wrong team. And here's why I say that about it. This is one of the reasons why I use Russell Westbrook. Because when Russell Westbrook left the Los Angeles Lakers, he transitioned to the Los Angeles Clippers. And if you watch Russell Westbrook right now, he's the Russell Westbrook of old. Even in a role player position and not a leader position. He's in a role player position on their team now. However, he is a wonderful contributor to that team's pedigree and to their winning. He was phenomenal in the playoffs last year when the two other star players of the team was out with injuries. He was the star of the team. same team, right team, versus same team, but wrong team. Why did I talk about Russell Westbrook? Why am I talking about same team, but wrong team? When it comes to recovery, working in this field and being exposed to many different treatment centers, I've had the privilege and the honor. First, before I go off into it, I'm going to say this. I'm not saying anything bad about any treatment centers. Don't take it as that. Same team, but the wrong team. That's all I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about. So I've had the privilege and the honor of visiting and touring a bunch of different treatment centers, and I found that lots of people with money end up going to these treatment centers because they have big names, they have big pedigrees, pedigree and all of these types of things, just like the Los Angeles Lakers. They are big names. When you mention their name, the lights, it lights up. People are, yes, that kind of thing about these treatment centers. And a lot of the ones that I'm talking about, it costs a lot of money to go. If you don't have money, you can't get in there. Put it to you like that. One of the things about these treatment centers that I admire is the fact that they are really good with protecting the person's anonymity. Let me say that. Good with protecting the person's anonymity. But let me say this as well. People, if you need treatment, everybody already know. So you don't have to protect your anonymity. I'm going to say that again. If you're at a place where you need to go to treatment to stop drinking, using, whatever it is that you are doing, everybody already know. So the most important thing should not be protecting your anonymity. Instead, the most important thing should be learning how to live a life of recovery so that you won't end up dead, period. So, back to what I was saying. Again, a lot of people go into these treatment centers, because they got big names and they feel like because it costs lots of money, they're going to get top-notch, top of the line treatment, support, help, or whatever you want to call it. And that may be in some cases, but just because you're on the same team with them, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right team. Same team, but the wrong team. Because here's the thing, and again, I've seen it from a professional level, and I've seen it in the recovery world or community. They pay these tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to these treatment centers, only to come out more messy than what they were when they went in. I'm not saying nothing bad about these treatment centers. I'm saying that while this treatment center may have been good for someone else, it was the wrong team for you. That's all I'm saying. Same team, right team for somebody else. Same team, but wrong team for you. And what you have to do is figure out whether it costs $100,000 or $100. What team is going to work for you? What team is going to best assist you in building, cultivating, and living a life of recovery that you want for yourself? You have to figure that out. And just because they got a big name, that doesn't mean that this is the right team for you. Let me give you a little bit of my story. I've been in recovery 8.5 years as of November 3rd, 2023. And over these years, before 2015, I had been to 5 previous residential treatments and maybe a couple of outpatient treatments. And I won't say that they were the wrong teams. However, it did work for me because I continued to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. However, when 2015 came, I got to my 6th residential treatment. It was something about the first conversations that I had with staff there. The guy who was my counselor, he ended up being my boss. Let me say that. The guy who was my counselor, it was something in that first conversation that we had that clicked in a way that helped me know this was the right team. This was the right teammate. This was going to be a teammate that was going to be a good assist man, be a good alley-oop man for my recovery. And so I got close to him. I got on, I allowed him to be a part of my team, and I teamed up with him to build what I wanted for the treatment process. Not the recovery, because the recovery started after I left there. What the treatment process looked like. And that treatment process helped me to get to a place where I started my recovery journey 30 days after that, 30 days after meeting this guy in person. So 30 days later, I'm graduating out of the residential. This team was so on point for me that I signed up for their IOP program, which is an acronym for intensive outpatient. So I signed up for their outpatient program and continued to be on this team and to have them as a part of my team. One of the wonderful things about it is that I kept the same therapist that I had that was working with me on my trauma, my hurt, my pain, my PTSD, all of those things that I was going through, continue to help me to work through that. I got a different counselor. However, that counselor and the counselor that I had that when I was in the residential, they got together and collaborated on what he had already known about me and on what he had already been doing with me. So this guy was basically a continuation of him. Same team, right team. And so we continued to work together and do what it was that we was doing, again, as a continuation of what I wanted my recovery to look like. Then I was introduced to a recovery coach. And the recovery coach what was crazy about that whole situation with the recovery coach is that when I called the recovery community organization that this recovery coach worked for, the person that I spoke to said to me, "I got the perfect coach for you." And she ended up being the best. Her name is Laura. Laura, if you watch this podcast, I'm going to miss your last name because I have no clue as to how to pronounce it. However, her name is Laura, one of the best people that has been in my life, a pillar in the recovery community. Assisted me in building and continuing to build my recovery plan and continuing to score and continuing to do what worked for me so that I can get to this place where I am today. Same team, right team. Versus same team, but the wrong team. I learned through these situations with this team that the other teams, although they were the same team and they were good, they just weren't good for me, for what I wanted, for what I needed, for what was going to constitute what recovery was going to be for me. Again, I'm not saying anything bad about any of those because all of them was good. All of them had a lot of goodness within themselves. It just wasn't what worked for me. And so what I'm saying is, I'm saying all that to say this, I was fortunate enough to create and be a part of a team that not only was the same team, but it was also the right team to assist me in the life of recovery that I wanted for myself. And I want to extend this to you. Some of these teams that you are on, some of these teams that you are part of, some of these people that you are allowing to be on your team, they may be good, but they may not be good for where you are and where you want to go. And so you have to embrace and internalize that and do like Russell Westbrook did, leave the Los Angeles Lakers and find a team where you're going to be able to fit in with. And that can relate to recovery, relationships, businesses, fitness, health, church, your relationship with God. It can relate to all of these different areas of our lives or of your life. And so, again, just because you're on a team that's known for greatness, it does not mean that's the right team for you. Same team, right team. Same team, but the wrong team. Which one is it that you want for yourself? Whichever one that you get on, you're going to get the results of what they bring. And so my strongest encouragement to you is to get on a team that's working for you and that you can work with them or for them so that you can get what it is that you desire for your life, whether it's recovery or whatever the case may be. Excuse me. This is Paul, your hip-hop relationship and recovery coach. As usual, before I leave, I want to say this. Be well. Please do the next right thing. May God bless you. And you either sitting on your butt or you standing on your why. Again, this is Paul, your hip-hop relationship and recovery coach, signing out on another episode of Kick Your Butt Out. Thank you so much. Peace.